assassination about other people. This is the glory of God, is to cover a matter, to bring grace into a matter, because the words that you would say about somebody could hurt them for the rest of their life. It could cause so much pain. There is, again, so much power in saying something hateful, something, even if it's true. It's not our business to go around and hurt people. Fervent lips, verse 23, with a wicked heart are like earthenware covered with silver dross. You know, if you took a clay pot and then you took silver dross, the impurities of silver, and you covered it, that's what a person is like who they're just speaking so fervently, maybe buttering you up, or they're complimenting you. They're appearing to be one thing, but what's really down in their heart is wickedness. And so you look at a clay jar that is a clay jar, but it's covered with something else. It's just covering what's really there. He who hates, the person who actually hates another person, disguises it with his lips and lays up deceit within himself. And so, they hate you, they detest you, they can't stand you, but when they're around you, they'll say, "Oh, good to see you." What I try to do, it's just off the record, when I see someone whom I'm not happy to see, and they say to me, "Well, it's good to see you," I just say, "Hi." I never tell them, "Oh, it's good to see you too." In fact, one time I can remember just a few years ago, I saw a guy and he came up to me and he had stabbed me in the back and he had done all kinds of things to me, and I knew it and he didn't know that I knew it. And he said, "Oh, Pastor Bob." It was at a Christian event, by the way. He said, "Oh, Pastor Bob, it is so good to see you." And I just said, "Hi." And he said, "Well, aren't you going to say something?" And I just said, "Hi." And he went away. Fortunately for him and the rest of the world, he's in heaven now. I hope you understand that. I'm in trouble now. I just meant it that God loved him too. He's out of his misery, and so am I. And so I don't have to put up with that particular guy anymore. Listen, whatever anybody's done to me, I've probably done it 100 times to them. But maybe not as bad as you. I don't know. But we should love people and try to love them. Verse 25, when he speaks kindly, do not believe him, for there are 7 abominations in his heart. Isn't that something? Somebody hates you and they're buttering you up and they're saying nice things to you. Don't even believe them. They've got all this stuff going on inside of them. Though his hatred, in verse 26, is covered by deceit, his wickedness will be revealed before the whole congregation. A person can conceal their hatred for a certain period of time, but eventually it'll be exposed. It'll come out. Whatever's really in a man's heart, somewhere down the road, it's going to come out. In verse 27, whoever digs a pit will fall in it. Now, people in that culture would dig pits hoping to set a trap for somebody that they would then cover the pit over with some brush or something, hoping that their enemy would walk and fall into the pit. But what's being said here is, if you're the kind of person that you're out to try to destroy somebody else, you're digging a pit for them, you're going to fall into your own pit. So God hasn't called us to dig pits. He's called us to either mind our own business, keep our mouth closed, or be nice to people, be kind to them, encourage them, build them up, and help them, and pray for them. He has not called us to try to hurt others. And then in the last part of verse 27, he who rolls a stone will have it rolled back on him. Now, in that culture, one of the ways that you killed someone was that you got up on a little hill next to the road where they would be walking on, and you would find a big stone, and you would get it all ready, and when they come walking down, you would just push the stone, and it would roll down the hill like an avalanche, and it would smash them and kill them. But you'd have to get that big stone and get it all ready to roll it out and to hurt that person. And what it's saying is, he who rolls a stone will have it rolled back on him. If you're out to try to hurt somebody else, it's going to come back on you. Isn't that something? You can't get away with it. In verse 28, and we'll end here. These are heavy chapters. I think they're great, though. A lying tongue hates those who are crushed by it. In other words, they hate the people that they're crushing. And through their lies, they're crushing other people. And a flattering mouth works ruin. So on that happy note, we're going to kind of end our time in Proverbs tonight. I had hoped actually to get through chapter 27, but couldn't make it. And Travis Seymour, if you're watching with the rest of the million people who are watching on the internet tonight, I know you're in Florida, and so I hope you can see us and hear us. Blessings to you, and blessings to anybody who happens to be watching tonight. And God's blessing to you in your own life and your own heart. And what a tremendous thing it is that God, who has saved us, he's taken us in our sinful condition, and he said, you know, I've provided for all of your sinfulness through my Son. He paid the price for you. God, who has taken us in that way and made us his own children, he says, now look, this is the main command I have for you. I basically want you to treat other people the same way that I've treated you. Isn't that something? That's the main thing that God wants us to do. He wants us to love other people. And you know, we struggle all day long on many days with that. And the reason that we struggle is because of the flesh and the sinfulness that dwells within us. Thank God we have a deliverer who can help us, and he will. And he then spreads in our heart, he puts into our heart the love of God. Tribulation produces patience, and patience produces character. And as you go through times of tribulation, what God is doing is working in your life, and he's giving you the ability to just endure and to hang in there and to be patient. And that whole process, according to Romans chapter 5, that's producing within you character. God is developing your character, and in the development of your character, the love of God is shed abroad in our hearts. And it's because God meets us in our own trials. He meets us in our own sinfulness, and he loves us, and he is merciful. And then we're that way. We have that love within our hearts. That's what God is trying to do with every one of us. I'm sure glad that he's called us to that simple thing, to love one another. In fact, he said, this is my commandment, that you love one another as I've loved you. And we say, okay, Lord, that's true except for all these people over here in this one group. No. Again, thank you for your humor and your appreciation.